YouTube. It's me, Graham again, and today we're going to do a sketchbook tour. So it's actually a bunch of sketchbooks. So these are all the sketchbooks. When I started working primarily, most of my work was in sketchbooks. So there's a good deal of kind of the evolution of my journey captured in these books. And I'm looking forward to going through them with you. So this one was actually a marker challenge that I did with my daughter. It was a 5-color challenge, and I'm actually really proud of it. I kind of like her. She's cool. It's done on like marker paper, which I'd never worked on before. This is my friend Rachel. That is Marceline the Vampire Queen. Bunch of face sketches that I did. This is sketches of my oldest, my daughter. This is another 3-marker challenge that I did. My daughter's really into Copics and really into marker challenges, so we did a bunch of those. This is some face sketches and a bunch of bleed through from the other page. This is actually one of the, to this day, one of my favorite things that I've ever done. But this girl right here was a random picture that I saw off of Twitter, I think, and then I just did the zipper mouth and resist, and I really like that one. Another 3-marker challenge. It looks like a very concerned Ninja Turtle, but I like it. That is Princess Bubblegum. There is a painting I did of my daughter. I think painting. Obviously a lot of fine liner use. It's actually silver hair putty. I wanted to try it, and it didn't work, but it was fun to do. Just some sketches, some character sketches. I actually really like this girl right here. My daughter is also obsessed with like chibi. I'm not sure how to say that. Chibi people, little tiny anime people. So I was trying to draw that with her. This was some stock photos that I found and never finished. A painting that I did with watercolor marker, I believe, of my friend Samantha. And sadly, there's bleed through from the other page, so that kind of messed it up, which at the time I did this, I was super proud of it. There is Beardy McBleed Through dude that bled through the other page because I was using alcohol markers and didn't realize how much they bleed. That's me as a chibi dude. These are from a figure drawing class that I go to a couple times a month. More figure drawing 1-minute sketches. This and pretty much anything that you see in my sketchbook that's on this kind of legal pad is something that I sketched at work. So this was a concept I had of drowning your sorrows, which is really morbid, but I don't know. This was more figure drawing practice. This is a fairy godmother of sorts. I think I used DJ from Fuller House as a source of inspiration for that. This one, first time I ever used Copic markers, and I was playing around with blending and trying to see if I could make a smooth gradient all the way through. It's kind of abstract and weird, I just really like it. More figure drawing, these are all off of Instagram. This is my middle boy, done on watercolor. This is actually some of the better watercolor paper that I've got. It's a weird size though, it's a 6x6 block. And I do this a lot where I'll glue things into my sketchbooks that I do outside of sketchbooks. More figure drawing, both of those. This, I was trying to do some facial expression stuff. This was random drawing on the train, just stuff that I saw. More from the figure drawing that I've got kind of pasted in there. I think this one's actually supposed to go like that. That is Robert Mueller. God save Robert Mueller. May he save us all. This is, what's her name? Effie Trinket from the Hunger Games. This page is an abstract nothing. I just remember I went to lunch with a friend and our waiter had faggot written on his apron, and I thought that was very clever and cute. So I ended up writing it all over this page and then did a bunch of other, you can see some fine liner and some watercolor and just kind of whatever with that page. It's actually one of my favorite pages in this sketchbook. This is a painting that I did on that same 6x6 pad of my friend Kevin. I actually hate this, but Kevin loved it, and so that was great. This is a Super Troopers Sketch Daily prompt, I believe. That's a red-handed fish, which is this really weird-looking fish. Again, these were sketches that I was doing at my desk at work. That is a sketch of my dad, and that is a watercolor painting of my brother. This is my middle boy again. He was sick and curled up on the couch sleeping, so I grabbed a China marker and sketched him doing that. I don't know what's going on with his jawline. He's not actually like a 30-year-old man with a huge jawline, but other than that, I really liked doing this. Here is some more figure drawing, obviously with a bunch of rub off from the previous page. That is my friend Gabby on her wedding day that I drew for her. This is my friend Flip. She's a drag queen in New York City and amazing, but I wanted to kind of capture the duality of her life and his life together and how they come together in the same person in this really beautiful expression. So that's what that was. This is some shelves that I have in my bedroom with some random stuff that I was kind of trying to do a still life of sorts. And that same night I tried to draw hands because I'm really, really bad at drawing hands. I kind of still think that I am, but these sketches were actually pretty good. This, I got gold ink and decided to play with it, and I think my daughter helped with a bunch of this. I think it's also the first time I was using a dip pen. This is a representation of my friend Matt, who considers himself an Ewok, and he's also a cyclist. I actually had this made into a sticker, which I have in my Etsy shop. And this is my friend Dan. So I did this series where I did a shout out for people to send me weird pictures of themselves, and I called it, I think, #DrawMeDerpy, and I did a bunch of those, so you'll see a bunch of those in here. This is my friend PJ and his baby trying to eat his face. I'm not sure what this is. I really hate it. I think it's when I first got gouache and I was playing with that. I'm not sure, but it just looks really weird. This was a random concept that I was sketching out one night. It's a roughly self-portrait of me with a girl's face zipper mask thing with tentacles. I don't know exactly where it was going, but it was fun to do. This one is one I did with my daughter. We both took a picture and did our own spin on it. And I had recently gotten gold ink. I still really, really love gold ink. This was all in India ink wash and then gold ink accents. And I actually turned this one into a sticker as well. Here is a manatee cat, just cause. Some swatching. I think I got some watercolor pencils. And this is a weird magnifying glass thing that a friend of mine has. Old diving helmet, again, because I was really digging the grayscale and the gold mixed together. That was an attempt to draw Lip, a character from one of my favorite TV shows called Shameless. I actually really hate this. This, however, I love. This is an extremely anxious chameleon, which I just find very funny. Next page. This is actually not recent. This is from 2014, when my daughter and I tried to do Inktober, and this is supposed to be Taylor Swift. I kind of liked it, so I put it in there. This is me playing around trying to do quick sketches with red ink and black ink, I believe using my dip pen, and apparently a raccoon dog. This is one of the first things that I did. I hated it, and so I stuffed it away somewhere, but then later decided that I wanted to keep it to show kind of my progression and how I've gotten better. So this was off of a stock photo website of some sort. Here's another little girl I did with stars in her eyes. I really apparently have a fan of like girls with buns and glasses, because you'll see I do a lot of those. This is swatching some random stuff. Half a girl's face. I tend to do that a lot for some reason. I think it's because symmetry is hard. These are some sketches of my friend Erin. She does computer science and also swing dancing, and I was trying to find the way that I wanted to capture her essence. And that's my friend Prashant that I did. We work together at a company that is very pizza centric, so I drew him in a pizza shirt. And I think that's all for this one. This is a Canson mixed media sketchbook. I liked it actually a lot. It was one of my favorite and my first. So that was the first one. After that one, I wanted very much a toned gray Strathmore sketchbook, and I was super excited about this. That lasted for a while, but by the end of it, I never wanted to see another gray piece of paper ever. So I started just filling the first page with a random kind of drawing, doing some staining with stippling and hatching and cross-hatching and trying to do some clouds. I think this was from a YouTube video I was watching, but I forget which one. This is noses and a random face that I drew on the train. This is Miss Miranda Bailey from Grey's Anatomy. I am an unabashed fanboy of that show, and so I drew her. So this is alcohol marker, and when I have bleed through, I've started to paint the corresponding bled through page in white gouache so that I can use it, and this is just an abstract whatever that I drew on top of that white gouache. Now here, I did February or Fairy this year. It was draw a fairy every day for the month of February. So this is a wood fairy. That was my wood fairy. Another thing to mention is that I don't go through my sketchbooks in order, so I jump around a bunch. This was again focusing on shading different shapes. So we've got cones and spheres and cubes and cylinders, drawing eyes and noses and random faces with apparently a nose in his forehead. This is a spaceship. So this is space travel drawn from a hat. So I played this game with my kids where we all put in 5 or 6 different drawing prompts, and then we each take turns drawing them out. So it's called Drawn from a Hat because obviously I come with the dad jokes, but it's one of the more fun games that we play together, in addition to doing 3 marker challenges. More random face sketching. Here is a girl holding a snail crab of some sort, and a tiny little cactus. That's adorable. Drawing with fine liners. This is another fairy. This is the mountain fairy. So he kind of has this mountain goat looking thing going on. This was a stone fairy. I didn't have time that day to do a fully done piece, but the idea was kind of like a gargoyle themed thing. I did that in a ballpoint pen. You can probably tell. I actually really like sketching in ballpoint. It's super freeing, I find. This was some studies that I was doing for another fairy concept that you'll see later, but I got the cow skull and some other just anatomy stuff that I was working on. More of that concept sketching. Even more concept sketching for different other fairies that I did. This was additional concept sketching for a half-drawn birdcage. This was water fairy. I actually made my daughter pose perched on the edge of my bed to get this pose, which she found really funny, and so did I. This is part of the Draw Me Derpy series that I did. So this is my friend Miko, drawn derpily. This is my friend Matt, also derpy. This is my friend Jeremy with derpy Snapchat creepy clown filter. Another friend named Matt was actually wearing his girlfriend's roller derby outfit, I think for Halloween. And so I drew that. The fishnets were actually a ton of fun, and I actually really like this. This is my friend Gianna. A lot of these derpy photos are actually Instagram filters that I just made look kind of real life, which is a lot of fun. This is another fairy. This is Flower Fairy. Oh, this one's fun. I took a nap and I had a dream about this. So these are like cat ice cream balls that I dreamt of, and I woke up and had to draw them. So they're kind of funny and cute. This is another Draw Me Derpy for a friend of mine. This one is a rain fairy. This is Draw Me Derpy of my friend Aubrey. Some sketches of a boot, some more concept sketches, and a girl. Draw Me Derpy of my friend Jeremy. This one was Ice Fairy. This one is the Thunder Fairy. I really liked her and her undercut. That was fun to do. This is more attempts at drawing with different fine liner colors. This is Luna Lovegood. Another edition of Drawn from a Hat. The prompt on this one was Harry Potter, and Luna is one of my favorite characters, so I did her. This was some just random practice, and you can see that I marked this one bad and this one good. I do still really like this one. So this is Light Fairy, and I was kind of trying to go for like a lightning bug effect. A couple pages back, you probably saw the sketching I was trying to do to see how I could render that lightning bug aspect of him, and that's how it ended up. I'm actually really happy with this. This is one of my friend's kids. I drew her off of Facebook. This was Night Fairy. The chainmail on this was super duper labor intensive, but I actually like the way that she turned out, so that's okay. I did this on a train. I remember it was the first face that I ever freehanded without looking at reference, and I was super happy with it. And again, you can see I like girls with buns. This one I did on a road trip because I realized that I had never colored a person of color before, and I wanted to learn how to do that. So that was this. I'm fairly happy with the result. This also done on a road trip. I don't know what's going on, but I think she looks like a strawberry. More just sketching practice. I don't know what's going on here. I still really like it, again, with the buns. This one I was trying to practice, I remember I was trying to practice flat washes and gradiated washes with watercolor. This is a funny scene if anyone's ever seen Mars Attacks. Sarah Jessica Parker gets her head attached to a chihuahua, so I did that. This is Godfather Fairy from Fairyary, or February. There were different hashtags, I don't know. This is my friend Claudia. She has an amazing like fashion Instagram that gives me tons of inspiration, but I had fun playing with colors on that one. More concept sketching for this guy, who is a rainbow fairy, and he's kind of like a leprechaun. I think you can see in the light, like there's a ton of, I was having fun playing with the gold again, and I really like the fact that I put a leprechaun buckle on his ring. This is my youngest boy, my baby, Sean. He tries to do scary faces a lot, so this was his scary raw face. More random sketching. This was some concept sketching for a fairy that I never got around to actually drawing, but the concept was like crawling into a washing machine or something. I think the prompt was sock fairy, so I wanted this to be the fairy that's always stealing your socks. This, for no reason at all, is a spotted pig on top of a stack of cups. More concept sketching for the sock fairy. This was me trying to figure out how to paint curly hair. More sketching and swatching. I do a lot of random swatching when I get new materials. This is a burglar baby for no reason other than I wanted to. This is the one that you saw a bunch of pre-work for. So this is Desert Fairy, and he's holding the cow skull, and he's very cactusy. I was super duper, and still I'm very proud and happy with this one. This is Bird Fairy. I have a friend that does aerial gymnastics, maybe? And I wanted to kind of play off of that, so that's what she's doing with wings and also being a bird. This was some concept sketching for that. I got another set of watercolor pencils in the mail, and so I was just swatching those out. This was a image I think I found on Pinterest that I was playing with, and I kind of liked the duality of like lightness and darkness. Another different but similar gold ink that I got that I really like. I like shimmery metallics. This was a star fairy. Star fairy. Um, this is my friend Erin, the one that I mentioned. She does computer science but also swing dancing. This is from the figure drawing class that I go to a couple times a month. More of those. We do 1 minute and then 5 minutes and then 15 minutes, another 15-minute pose. Whoops, sorry about that. This is my friend KF that I did this with gouache and gold ink. I don't know if you can see the shiny. She had some really pretty gold glasses that I wanted to capture. And the most epic pink mohawk that you could ever ask for. That is 11 from Stranger Things, which my daughter is obsessed with. This is a pretty sparkly star fella that I drew. A drooling coffee cup. I actually turned this one into a sticker, which I have on both my Redbubble and my Etsy shop. And a random baby in a bear suit. This girl is a piece that I did in gouache, and the reason why I was trying to figure out how to do curly hair with the red paint that you saw a couple pages before. More figure sketching, and a kind of villainous looking fellow with some gold accents. This is off of Instagram. This is See the Stars Blaze. I just really liked his pose and his hair, and so I did that. This one I did mostly on a train. This is a lot of swatching. My daughter drew this thing, I know, but mostly just swatching to see how different materials work on this paper. Also more swatching. And then I actually ended up, for some reason, tearing out a bunch of pieces of this. I think it's because I was scanning them, so I thought I would just go through them. This is just a sketch of a girl. This was a painting. I was super happy with it, except for her hand, which makes me sad because I love everything else about this, and it feels like her hand kind of ruined the whole thing. This was one of the first things I ever did with gouache, and I absolutely love it. He is they're someone on Instagram, Ink Maggot, and I saw this and was super inspired, so I painted it. Aerial gymnastics. So if you want good figure drawing practice, aerial gymnastics is an amazing way to get this. This was some pre-work for that bird fairy, but also I just realized that it was really good figure drawing practice. More of the Draw Me Derpy series. This is my friend Jeremy, being super derpy. I have, I think, this in my Redbubble shop. It's called the Incredulous Hulk. This is my friend Matt, the same one that I actually drew in his girlfriend's roller derby. He had this really cool beard thing going on that day. So that's the Draw Me Derpy of him. This one is a combination of two prompts that I did that was Wind and Cloud Fairy. This is Draw Me Derpy, but of a friend's baby, who's just, I don't know. This is adorable. I made this one into a sticker too. I think this is actually, her skin is definitely ink wash with some purple and green inks that I had gotten that day. And then the yellow and white is gouache. This is one of my favorite things that I've done. You can see the gold and the kind of grayscale ink washing that I did. The prompt on this one was Sleep or Dream Fairy. And it had a kind of, I don't know, like Morpheus type feel to me. But I'm still really, really proud of that. That was the end of the gray sketchbook. Initially, I really liked it, but I have just the process of the habit of working through a sketchbook entirely before I move on to the next one, because I didn't want to end up with a bunch of half-full sketchbooks. So I made myself power through this, and I was very tired of gray paper by the end of it. My kind of last sketchbook is this one by Koh-i-Noor. It is a Bristol paper, and I was so excited when I got it because I wanted to try Bristol paper so much. This is Angela the Anglerfish, some random ink splotching that I was doing with ink and alcohol and making bubbles. This is a pizza dude. This is... my daughter would kill me. She had me draw him. Nico D'Angelo from Percy Jackson, which she is also obsessed with. So I drew him for her. This is a random girl that I drew. I really like the half-shaved undercut look, so I did that. Random purple fella. This one, I remember I was trying to draw faces without reference, and for some reason he ended up with a super duper long nose. But I do really like his hair, so great hair. This was something I was inspired to draw. One of my coworkers posted his tiny, like 3 or 4-year-old daughter riding around on his labradoodle. And so I drew it kind of as a grown woman riding on a horse-sized labradoodle. This was a painting that I did with gouache and some metallic inks of a girl in a bathtub. That is my daughter. I believe I did this one with acrylic. Or acrylic gouache, one of those. I like it. There was some smudging, I think, that came from the previous page that kind of messed it up. But other than that, I was happy with it. Lots of smudging here. So the watercolors that I was using at the time are super chalky, and they smudge off on each other a lot. So there was this one, and then this one I was super duper happy with. Around this time I started using fixative because I realized that the watercolors were not of good quality and needed fixative, or else they would rub off on other things. The fixative is also really good for graphite. This I drew randomly without reference, and she has mouths for eyes because I wanted to. And she's also planted in a planter. So this was just kind of random stream of consciousness, I guess. This one, I think, was off of Pinterest. I actually really, really love the way this turned out. It was a lot of India ink, diluted India ink washing, and then I believe her face is gouache. This is more ink and gouache. Kind of, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. I do love the buns. Always love buns. My daughter, when I showed her this, said it looked like Hercules, so we'll go with that. Hercules wearing blue lipstick for some reason. This was me playing with trying to do landscapes and also falling in love with color Payne's Gray. It is, to this day, one of my favorite colors. Another study I did, I believe, in gouache, trying to get a hang of the medium. This one was either acrylic or acrylic gouache, and I have no idea. It is a cyclops unicorn pig with wings. So there's that. This is my colleague and my friend Finn. He has this super duper regal looking profile picture on Facebook, and so I decided to capture that. These are actually some fun things. So you can see this one down here. This is ink and then alcohol, and it makes these really cool patterns, and this is on Yupo paper. So I did these tiny little sketches. The backgrounds are the same as this, ink and alcohol, and it makes these cool little sketches. And then I painted portraits on top of them. So that's what these two are. This one is actually done with soft pastel and alcohol. So I used a soft pastel and then paint over it with alcohol for a pretty cool effect. Again, I'm really bad at hands, and I hate this hand. More playing around with soft pastel. I think this is actually on pastel paper. I still have not gotten the hang of this medium. I want to go back to it. It's something that my dad bought me. I want to get better at it. I find it, the dust though, it's a very dusty medium, and I find it's hard to work with because you get a lot of like smudging like up here and whatnot. So I am going to figure that one out. This was a random painting that I did that I don't like, but I did. I was trying to work on doing more than one person in a piece. So that's what that This was a concept sketch for something that I later turned into a painting. This was a queen that I did. I really did not like this, although I did enjoy all of the gold. Again, seeing lots of themes here. I like gold things. This, I believe I was trying to do buy buns challenge, and the prompt for this day was prehistoric. So I was doing, I forget what the dinosaur is called, but they have that frill that's in Jurassic Park, the one that spits like acid tar. So that's what that is. More figure drawing from the figure drawing class that I go to a couple times a month. This is that same queen, the preliminary sketch that I decided to color in, and I like this one even less than the other one. This is from figure drawing. This is a concept sketch for a painting that I ended up doing. Same with this one. This is more figure drawing. I actually captured this one. It's 2 1-minute poses, but because of the way that I was working, it ended up turning into just a single like body, which I thought was really cool. Alright, this page is just some random doodles. I think on here I got some new acrylic wash colors that I was trying to swatch out and was just in a really weird headspace, I guess. This was a preliminary sketch that ended up, I made a painting out of that one. And here is a mermaid in a wheelchair, which was fun to do. And now you will see, I broke my rule. I did not finish the sketchbook. I actually ended up hating Bristol paper. It turns out it's good for markers and not as great for wet mediums, or at least I couldn't get it to work well for wet mediums. I have a couple pages at the back where like I was drawing some flamingos here and then just bunches of swatching, but this is for now. Figure drawing class, more figure drawing class, and Uhura that I did. But other than that, this will probably forever remain an unfinished sketchbook because I just do not like Bristol paper. That is about it. That was my third sketchbook. I do have a couple pages that I tore out for scanning or for other purposes. This sketch was a sketch of a girl that I did, and I really, really loved it, and I was terrified to try to color it. I have since learned how to use a light box, so I'm probably going to transfer her onto some watercolor paper and do a painting because I do really like this. More figure drawing. This is Janelle Monáe, but as a Borg, which I thought was kind of cool. I'll probably transfer this one and maybe try to paint it too. This was a quick painting I did of a girl crying purple tears, which was just kind of fun. A preliminary sketch that I did for this painting. I believe I used acrylic or acrylic wash for this one. And this is another preliminary sketch that I did for another painting. So there you have it. My 3 sketchbooks that I've done. I've done a bunch of other work. I have a sketchbook that's in progress right now, and maybe I'll do a sketchbook tour for that. I've been painting a lot more outside of sketchbooks and on larger paper, so I definitely am going through sketchbooks much slower than I did. But these are, yeah, this is a good chunk of the work that I've done since I started this journey. So thanks for watching. Definitely like if you liked what you saw, and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get updates on when I do my next video. Bye!